Good morning, everyone. Since all the topics about how a child develops from the mother's womb and how does a child acquires knowledge has been discussed already, so for today's topic, we are going to discuss the important factors that contribute or affect the learning process. So, according to Cobb's 1984 experimental learning style theory, is typically by a four stages learning cycle in which the learner touches all the bases. So, number one stage is the concrete experience. It is the doing or having an experience. Example, na-experience mo na yung isang bagay. Yung, kunyari, umattend ka ng seminars for teachers, tapos ipinakita sa inyo kung paano maging effective na teacher inside the classroom. So, ayun. After that, proceed na tayo sa reflective or observation na stage. Ito na yung, kunwari, after ng seminar, i-review mo na yung mga natutunan mo. Kung gaano ba ito talaga ka-effective, kung pwede mo ba talaga tong gamitin inside the classroom. So, ayun na nga. Sa abstract conceptualization naman, dito na papasok yung mga thoughts mo na, ay, ang ganda pala ng idea na binigay kanina. So, why not try, diba? Yun. Pagkatapos mo mag-conclude sa mga ideas na binigay sa inyo, magpo-proceed ka na agad sa active experimentation. Dito mo na iisipin kung what if gawin ko to, what if i-apply ko to sa klase ko, magiging effective ba talaga? So, malalaman mo lang na effective yung binigay sa'yo na idea kung susubukan mo. Ha? So, ayun na nga. So, that is how Cobbs defined the meaning of a learning process. It has been found out that the learner's difficulty in learning may be due to many factors within the child himself. So let's begin with the first factor that affects or contribute to the learning process.
One of the factor affecting learning is maturation. So, what is maturation? Maturation is an important factor that affects our learning. Is defined as growth that proceeds regularly within a wide range of environmental conditions. It is also growth that takes place regularly in an individual without special condition of stimulation such as training and practice. Also, maturation is a natural process, and then also this is the one of the important factor which influences learning. So the question is here, what is the relationship between maturity and learning? So for maturation, an external stimulus is not a necessary and its sequence. It's biologically predetermined. On the other hand, learning is a change in the individual. It is a process which takes place as a result of stimuli from without. For example, there's the behavior is said to have matured if a behavior sequence develops through regular stages. This is like irrespective of intervening practices or training. In case training procedures that not modify speed of the behavior, such procedures are not important. Another example is the swimming of tadpoles and the flying of birds can be attributed to primarily to maturation. But in the case of human beings, it is not easy to decide whether the activities result from maturation of learning. So, example, a child learns to talk only when the child reaches a certain age or age in maturation. Again, he does not learn the language just because he attains that age. The language which he learns is that which he hears. Those the two processes, maturation and learning, are closely related to each other. So also the maturation facilitates the process of learning. So those when the learning becomes effective when appropriate maturity has been attained. So learning takes place only if the stage for that type of learning has been achieved through a process of of maturation. For example, our typical human brain develops with age. It is a maturation process. So, but our knowledge, our habits are acquired those stimulus response activities or in other words, learning. So that's why maturation is also important for learning. Before we learn anything, our sensory motor and nervous structure should attain a certain level of maturity. For example, we cannot make an infant simply because he has not acquired the appropriate maturity. So until a certain level of maturation is acquired by the child, training or what we call this learning may be no of avail. So we should bear in that we should bear in mind that during the early development period of child, the greater level of maturity brings more efficient learning, and learning of complex skills requires a higher level of maturation. So the second one is attention and perception as factor in learning. So isa na dyan yung attention. So attention is always present in conscious life and is common to all types of mental activity. It is the characteristic of all conscious life. So attention is about focusing and processing information from our surroundings. So, like Rose Dumble defined attention as the concentration of consciousness upon one subject rather than another. So here's the characteristic of attention. Attention focuses on consciousness one object is focus of attention. So example there is right now. What is the focus of your attention? What objects are in the margin of your attention? Here is the question. That's why nandiyan po yan. Attention is selective. We choose to attend to one object in preference to others. Like nasa isang club ka. So then may tumawag sa na Jen. So kahit gaano man kaingay yung sa club na yon, doon ka mag-focus sa nagtawag sa'yo kasi that what we call attention is selective. So, attention is constantly shifting from focus to margin. Example, loud noise, tas bigla ka na lang nag-shift yung attention mo sa loud noise na yon. So, attention is a state of preparedness where the muscle and organs are ready to themselves for attending. Just change on the prepared yourself or charge own mind so that since organs ready themselves for attending mga bright colors, also our attention are shift. Doon pa sa shifting yun to. Attention cannot be divided between two mental tasks. So, in particular time, you can give attention to only one particular things. Like, nagda-drive ka. Diba? Tapos, nagkikinig ka ng music. So, doon ka nagfo-focus sa, hindi mo alam kung nagfo-focus ka ba sa pagda-drive o nagfo-focus ka ba sa music. That's what we call, between two mental tasks. Okay? So, types of attention. We have three types of attention: the voluntary attention, selective, and involuntary attention. Involuntary attention, a person search out information that has personal relevance. So dito, it means dito kasi, it means kasi dito sa voluntary person, voluntary attention is, like example, person actively searches out information that has personal relevance. Example is problem solving, answering in the examination. Yun yung voluntary attention. Yung selective attention naman, a person selected focuses attention on relevant information. Tulad dun sa characteristic ng attention na selective sometimes yung attention is selective, which is have you even been in a loud concert? So doon sa loud, sa maingay na yun, like example kanina sa characteristic of attention, like selective talaga yung selective yung attention, because like gusto mo bumili ng phone rather than sa loud noise. Gusto mo bumili ng phone, but you have to go to your work or you have something to do pa, but nakita mo yung isang signage ng mobile store. So doon nag yung attention, which is called selective. And then involuntary attention. A person is exposed to something surprising, novel, threatening, or unexpected. Dito sa involuntary, example also is the bright colors, loud noise, and strong odors, pain, etc. Those are involuntary attentions. So, the significance of attention, it is basic need for all types of learning. Excuse me. Every moment of yours is attracted by many stimuli of the environment. Your mind is not able to concentrate on all the stimuli at the same time. It is because of attention that you are able to concentrate on important aspect of single object. Consider a classroom where there are lots of things like desk, bench, chalk, blackboard, duster, fan, and charts. When a teacher shows you a particular chart, you pay attention to that. You pay attention to that. So it shifts the focus of learner to the chart. This helps them to learn more about it. So therefore, it can't be said that attention helps you to clear. So therefore, it can be said that attention helps you to clear the vivid object. It also interests learners to learn a particular things. It increases efficiency of the learner. It motivates learner to learn more, and then it makes the learners ready to learn. It brings a state of alertness in learners for doing tasks. It helps the learner to perceive events or ideas. Those attention is a necessary condition for any task in the classroom. It is the hub of entire learning process. So, essential for learning as well is understanding well. Attention is an essential factor for teachers as well as students. If you are attentive in classroom, you are fully prepared to receive any stimulus. It enables you to learn properly within a period. So it helps you also to achieve the target within short period and with reasonable amount of effort. The next one is perception. So perception is mental process which you get knowledge of external world. You receive innumerable expression through the sense organs. It is also the process through which a person is exposed to information, attends to information, comprehends the information. So the like exposure, a person receives information through his and her senses. Attention also is a process allocates processing capacity to stimulus. And the other one is the last one is comprehension. A person interprets the information to obtain meaning from it. So meaning is example. Sorry. Eyes react to light and give us the knowledge of brightness. Like nose react to smell and give us knowledge of pleasant or unpleasant. Like example, yung body odors, yung gusto mo yung luto ng nanay natin na mabango, ganun. So Or ear react to sound of barking and give us the knowledge of presence of a dog. So perception is an active state of mind in which reacts on sensations and interprets it. So the basis of perception is sensation. So important of perception and learning. So learning depends on an individual perceive. If you are able to perceive it, think correctly, then right learning will take place. So learning will proceed in a proper direction due to correct perceives. So both sensation and perception play an important role in learning. So sensations are the first impression, so it has to be absolutely clear. Sometimes also sensation give rise to perception. On that basis, you get a proper understanding of an object, idea or like idea or an experience. So learning depends upon accurate and efficient perception, and also perception depends upon the sensations, which depend on the normal functioning of the sense organ. Those perception is important for proper learning and understanding. So the next one is motivation as factor in learning. So the knowledge of how to stimulate the students to participate meaningfully in classroom will go a long way in assisting the teachers. So this unit therefore provides the learners the opportunity to understand different theories of motivation and how to apply these theories to their day-to-day classroom teaching learning activities. So here is the motivation is defined as inspiration that propels someone into action. So sabi nga ni Lahey 1995 that it is an internal state or condition that activates and gives direction to our thoughts, feelings, and action. So the motivation is a process by which learners' internal energies are directed toward various goals, objects, his and her environment. So these energies of our result push an individual in achieving his goals. So example, individual may be highly motivated to perform well in task and completely unmotivated in another. So this means that when you are motivated, they will work tirelessly to achieve their aspirations. So Maslow 1970 believes that motivation leads to growth and development, and that need satisfaction is the most important sole factor underlying motivation. So belief that motivation leads to growth. Maslow further explained that man is perpetually in needs, and the resources to satisfy those needs are limited. So in view of this, man places his or her wants on the scale of preference, so that he and she select that he and she or that he or she selects the most pressing need. After this has been satisfied, it becomes less important, paving way for the next on the ranks. The needs of the man may neither be primary or secondary. Primary needs are the psychological ones of man. It may be the need of water, rest, sexual intercourse, hunger, and thirst. Secondary needs are the desire for autonomy, affection, or the need for safety and security. For example, the desire of liberty to take glass of water. After thirst is primary need, At the same time, craving of the student to the stay in a sharing classroom environment is a secondary need. So, motivation is a process, Oladell 1998, motivation is a process by which the learner's internal energy are directed toward various goals, object, her environment. So, here are the types of motivation. There are two types of motivation for ourselves. They can either be internally or external driven. Desire for food or sex arises from within us. So that what we call intrinsics. While the yearning to obtain the recognition of approval is influenced by the condition in our environment. That's we call extrinsics. In view of the above explanation, motivation is divided into intrinsics and extrinsics. What is intrinsic motivation? This type of motivation can make an individual to have the feelings of self-confidence and competence. This is one defined by DC and Ryan 1985. So, example, the student who is intrinsically motivated may carry out a task because of the enjoyment he or she derives from such a task. In another way, a dog that sees a bone and runs for it did that because of the satisfaction it derives from eating bone. This type of behavior does not require any prior learning. Citing the bone changes the behavior of the dog, propels it to act. So, other one is extrinsic motivation. So, it is the external or environmental factor which sets the individual behavior into motion. In the incentive reinforcer drives an individual's behavior towards a goal. Example, a student that is extrinsically motivated will execute an action in order to obtain some reward or avoid some sanctions. For example, a student who read hard to examine did so because of the desire to obtain better grade. So the case also goes for a runner who wants to win a prize. Here she or he will need constant practice than a person who wants to run for the fun of it. So intrinsic reward should be used with caution because they have potential for decreasing exciting intrinsic motivation. For example, intrinsic incentive may spur a student to actively participate in a task for which the student has no interest, but may undermine intrinsic and continuing motivation in him or her. Is defined by DC et al. 1985. Therefore, the student's motivation automatically has to do with the student desires to participate in the learning process. It is also concerned the reason or goals that underlie their involvement or non-involvement in academic activities.
Through this, Abraham Maslow, a foremost psychologist, developed a theory about motivation as human needs. So he divided it into identified 7 vital human needs according to the level of urgency or exigency. So pag sinabi nating vital needs, ito yung mga importanteng kailangan ng isang tao. Pag level of urgency naman, kung gaano siya kakailangan ng isang tao. So number 1 theory is physiological needs. These are the biological or survival needs of human. Pag sinabi nating survival needs, ito yung mga most basic needs natin as a human. Halimbawa, our desire to eat food when we're hungry. Drink water when we're thirsty. Sinasabi din ng Maslow na pag di natin na-fulfill itong mga needs na to, hindi tayo makaka-proceed sa next na desire natin in life or next na needs as a person. So number 2 is the safety and security needs. Human beings require safety and protection from danger or external aggressors. Human beings require safety and protection from danger or external aggressors. It is our desire of safety. So, bilang matured na tayo, we want to have a peaceful life. Pipilin natin yung mga lugar kung saan secure tayo at safe. So, yun. Number 3 is love and belongingness needs. Involves the aspiration of man to establish a cordial relationship with others. According to Onyehalu, he believes that this need is manifested in our affiliation and friendships. Ito yung you have the desire to love and to be loved. Desire of having connection with your neighbors, co-workers, classmates, and etc. So the number 4 theories of motivation is the achievement needs. Achievement needs are divided into 2. These are the need to achieve success and the need to avoid failure or setback. The need to attain success drive men to go extra miles. Ibig sabihin, ang desire mo na maging successful, yun yung magmo-motivate sa'yo to strive harder. So this need will motivate you as an individual to develop a good behavior so that you will gain the respect from others. Yun. Number 5 is the self-esteem needs. These are the things we desire in order that our ego will be boosted. So as a person, after natin makuha yung recognition or respect mula sa ibang tao, dito na papasok yung mga thoughts na you need to do something para maging magandang ehemplo ka sa ibang tao. So, sabi ni Maslow na pag na-fulfill mo itong mga needs na to, ay mas lalong magbo-boost ang self-esteem mo. Pag hindi naman, it will turns out into depression. So, example, kunyari, sumali ka ng singing contest. Yung gusto mo talagang manalo. But, at the end, wala, hindi ka nanalo. So, hindi mo na-achieve yung desire mo. Yung desire mo na maging ehemplo. So, ayun, yung pagkatalo mo na yon ay nagdala ng depression sa'yo. Mas lalong bumaba ang self-esteem mo. Yun. So, number 6 is the aesthetic needs. These needs include the desire of people to pursue or admire beautiful things. Ito yung mga wants ka na which is yung kunyari, gusto mo nang bumili ng mga sasakyan, gusto mo ng mga magagandang bahay, yun. Gusto mo na maka-receive ng magagandang flowers, yun yung ibig sabihin ng aesthetic needs. Yan. So, number 7 is self-actualization needs. So, these needs, when a person has successfully achieved or gained the most basic needs or wants, then such an individual would want to get a rare opportunity. Sa needs na to, ito yung you're desiring or seeking for power or extraordinary achievement. Yung gusto mo nang magkaroon ng trabaho beyond what you are expected to be your job in the future. So, at this point, Maslow said that a person have reached the peak of his potentials kasi nga nakilala mo na ang sarili mo. Through these 7 human needs, natuto ka. You acquire knowledge from this. Yun. So for conclusion, sinasabi lang ni Maslow dito sa kanyang theory about motivation na through motivation, mas makikilala natin ang ating sarili. And we are able to distinguish our wants and needs as a person. So, ayun na nga. Next theory from Murray's theory of motivation. So, ang motivation niya, dinivide niya lang sa 2, which is related also to theory of Maslow. Number 1 is viscerogenic needs. So, these are referred to as biological or physiological needs. The primary needs includes water, sex, sleep, food, air, and excretion. Parang, ano lang siya, tawag dito? Summary lang siya ng theory ni Maslow. So, psychogenic needs correspond with other needs in Maslow theory. These are the secondary needs. Examples are longing for safety and security, love and camaraderie, self-esteem, beautiful things or serene environment, rare or dominant positions. Yun, parang pinagsama-sama niya lang yung mga theory na ginawa ni Maslow. Yun. So, next, mag-proceed naman tayo sa classroom implications ng motivation. Number 1, it is important for the teacher to know the basic needs of his or her students and cater for this according to level of their importance. So, in order for our students to be motivated, syempre, napaka-importanting alamin muna natin ang mga basic needs ng ating learners, 'di ba? 'Yun. Very vital 'yun para sa atin, sa mga future teachers. Kailangan talaga natin kilalanin at alamin ang mga kailangan ng ating mga estudyante. Bago tayo magbigay ng mga learnings or knowledge sa kanila. So, maaring hindi sila makafocus. Ganun. So, number 2, when the teacher praises his or her students for doing well in their study or assignment, they will be spurred to sustain that effort. So, praises, very relevant or relatable, especially kung tayo ay magtuturo na sa elementary or preschool. Pag naka-receive sila ng recognition or praises, there's only one thing na papasok sa mind nila. Yung mag-aaral pa ako ng mabuti. Yun yung papasok sa mind nila pag naka-receive sila ng mga praises, awards, ganun. So, sa atin ngayon, alam niyo naman, kahit hirap na tayo, makita lang natin na we received the perfect score. Yun, kahit gaano kahirap, gugustuhin pa rin nating mag-aral kahit stress na tayo. Basta makita lang natin na perfect yung score natin sa mga activities, go pa rin tayo kahit mahirap. Yun yung maganda doon. So, number 3, the teacher should also provide a plan for extracurricular activities for his or her students. So, through this, mamomotivate mo yung students mo na ipakita yung talent niya. And then you have also the opportunity na ma-establish yung teacher and learners relationship. Especially kung bago ka pa lang nila naging teacher, kung bago ka pa lang sa school na yun. So last is in the classroom, students like being recognized or respected. So, recognition and respect inside the classroom is very vital. Kailangan bilang teacher, makinig ka rin sa mga estudyante mo. Kailangan mo din i-respect ang mga opinion nila so that they will have that self-esteem or magkaroon sila ng tiwala sa sarili na sasabihin sa sarili na, ay, okay, dapat sa next class, ganito din ako kasi open naman si ma'am or si sir sa opinion namin bilang mga estudyante niya. So, ayun. Rin may iwasan yung mga kaibigan mo na, syempre, paulit-ulit yung kwento. Isa rin yun sa mga rason kung ba tayo nabobore. So, ang result ng boredom nito is restlessness. Yung parang wala kang pahinga, pero wala ka namang ginagawa. Yun lang. Tapos, hindi ka na makapag-concentrate sa mga bagay-bagay. Next factor, we have the transfer of learning. So, Cormier and Hagman 1987 defined transfer of learning as the implication of skills and knowledge learned in one context being applied in another context. So, example, ina-apply mo yung mga natutunan mo sa ibang bagay. Gaya ngayon sa senior high, diba? Merong tinatawag na work immersion, which is ia-apply mo na yung mga natutunan mo inside the classroom sa field na napili mo. Yan. So, according also to Oladell 1998, transfer of learning as the effect of prior learning on the present. So, let's proceed to the kinds of transfer. Positive transfer. This is a situation whereby a previously learned fact or information aids in the understanding of a new task. Ibig sabihin, ito ay improvement of learnings from a context to one another. For example, natuto ka ng mag-drive ng sasakyan. And then, yung knowledge mo na yon, how to drive a car, will help you to drive a truck in the future. Yan, dapat related yung natutunan mo sa a-applyan mo. Yun. Or sa a-applyan ng skills mo. Yun. So, next is negative transfer. This is a type of learning in which prior experience imparts negatively on the new one. So, yung negative is, kunyari, nag-exam kayo. Iba yung pagkakaintindi mo sa question, kaya naging mali na yung sagot mo. Yun. Number 3 is zero transfer. Zero transfer, the type of learning reveals no link between the previous learned task and the recent one. Walang improvement. Yun lang. Zero transfer. Next, we have the classroom implications or transfer of learning. Number 1. The teacher should know that transfer of learning will not take place when both the old and new are unrelated. Example, ang tinuro sa inyo is about electricity. Pero gusto ng teacher nyo gumawa ng activity na grafting, which is unrelated to agriculture. So, dapat yung tinuro niya before is related sa bago niyang ituturo or ipapagawa. Number 2, the teacher should provide opportunity of his or her students to practice a subject matter being discussed along with him or her. So it is very important for the teacher to let his or her student practice or help them understand what is being discussed. Number 3, the teacher should always emphasize the relationship that exists between one subject matter and another. So number 4, the teacher should endeavor to develop positive attitudes towards a learning task so that the students can be motivated to like the task rather avoiding it. So, bilang teacher, dapat mahaba talaga yung pasensya mo kahit gigil na gigil ka na sa mga estudyante mo. You need to compose yourself of being a professional while teaching. So, dapat turuan mo sila pag nagtanong sila kung anong dapat gawin sa task na to. Dapat tuturuan mo sila kasi it's your responsibility to teach them. So, pag ginawa mo yon, magkakaroon na sila ng will or ng gana na gawin ito. Hindi yung, ay, ayoko na ito, hindi pa naturo ni ma'am, ayoko nang gawin to. Ganon. Dapat, you need to motivate them. So, number 5, it is believed that what students see, touch, feel, or manipulate will be better remembered than the one they are not familiar with. The teacher should incorporate exercises that task the various senses of learners in the learning process. So, di ba nga sabi nila, learners has a different capability to acquire knowledge. So, it is essential to use visual aids during classes so that you may catch your students' attention para na rin makilala nila yung mga bagay na ini-introduce mo sa kanila. Kunyari, this is the end of our report. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have learned a lot and I hope naintindihan nyo yung mga bagay na naka-apekto sa learning process ng isang tao as a learner. So, thank you so much.